Welcome back to Decked Out Beyond.
Today's Universes Beyond Showdown theme was decided by our patrons, and we are joined by Maldhound and Quincy from Quincy's Tavern, and each of our decks were submitted by our patrons.
As always, thank you to our sponsors, Tales of Adventure, Moxfield, and Ultimate Guard, and today's featured sponsor, Factor. But more on all of them later in the video.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the game.
Hello everybody, my name is Quincy of Quincy's Tavern. I'm so excited to be here on Decked Out again. I am playing Aragorn the Uniter. This deck was made by Aiden, and I'm so excited to pilot this. I love everything Lord of the Rings and fantasy. The point of this deck is to cast a multitude of multicolored spells. Reds, greens, blues, whites in multiple combinations, and value my way to a victory, hopefully.
Hi everybody, my name's Maldhound. You can find me on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram touching cards, attempting to touch your heart, but most importantly, telling you whether or not I'd touch your commander's parts. Today, I am grateful to be playing a deck built by Tarbeast for Ezio Auditore di Firenze. He is an Assassin's deck. I will be cheating out every character from the Assassin's Creed series and digging desperately through my deck to find Ramses Assassin Lord to pull a sneaky on the table.
Thanks to our patron Kai, I am getting to shuffle up the Warhammer 40k commander, Magus Lucia Kane. She is all about Tyranids and X spells. So my deck focuses on those two things, getting a bunch of Tyranids in play, putting counters on them, and casting massive spells and copying them with her X ability.
Let me take you back in time. It's the Doctor Who pre-con game, and I'm playing the 10th Doctor and Rose Tyler. The deck pops off, and then Gavin Verhey comes in from the top rope and crushes my hopes and dreams. But that is not going to happen this time because our patron Koga has submitted an updated version of the 10th Doctor and Rose Tyler, this time including all kinds of suspend cards and time counter synergies that didn't exist before, so this time I can clean my opponent's clocks.
Today's featured sponsor is Factor.
With our busy schedules and picky eaters and general want for good food, the missing factor was, well, Factor. We order overpriced takeout way too much. Factor delivers chef-crafted, restaurant-quality meals directly to your door.
And you'll never get bored with Factor. There are over 35 meals to choose from each week, including options like Keto, Calorie Smart,
and Veggie.
And when things get hectic, Factor is flexible. You can change up your order every week with plans that range between 4 to 18 meals, and you can pause or reschedule your deliveries at any time.
Every one of these meals is ready in just 2 minutes, and that means time to shuffle up another one or a late night at F&M.
Between building decks, recording, or live streaming, sometimes I struggle just to get to the grocery store. And with Factor, I never have to worry about where my next meal is coming from.
Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50DeckedOutEDH to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's code 50DeckedOutEDH at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box.
All right, thank you to Factor for sponsoring this episode, but let's go ahead and get into the game. Welcome to the table. Let's see who goes first.
Whoa.
2.
13?
15! Okay, I am going to play Bloodstained Mire, immediately tap it, pay 1 life, and go looking for a land. I'm gonna get Underground Mortuary so that I can get a cool Surveil trigger after I shuffle and just really lock down all the camera time. What's up, right here? You're with me today. I'm gonna keep it so real. Roshan Hidden Magister is going in the trash can. Ass.
I see your fetch land into Surveil land, and I'll raise you Port Town. But I do, in fact, have a Plains in my hand, so it comes in untapped. And I'll pay 1 for an Expedition map, which I can sacrifice to search for a land and put it into my hand. And pass.
We ramping.
Just a boring mountain. Pass.
Untap, upkeep, draw. I'm gonna do what Maldhound did, but with the Scalding Tarn. I'm gonna tap and sack it. I will find a breeding pool, I'll bring it in tapped, and I will pass the coin.
The temptation to surveil again, but I need to cast my commander. I'll untap this. I'm gonna play Wooded Foothills, pay another life, tap, sack it. We're gonna go look for a land. I'm gonna tap 2 and play Ezio Auditore da Firenze, first of his name and last of his line. 3/2 with Menace. Assassin spells I cast have free running of 2 black pips, which means I should have grabbed a different land, but more importantly, if I deal combat damage with an assassin, I can cast the assassin spell for 2 black mana instead of whatever it actually costs. And then whenever Ezio deals combat damage to a player, I can play Wooburg if they have 10 or less life. And when I do, they lose the game. Go ahead.
I'm going to play this Exotic Orchard and pay 2 for my Doctor's Companion, Rose Tyler. She's a 2/2 that gets +1/+1 for each time counter on it, and when she attacks, I put a time counter on her for each suspended card I own and each other permanent I control with a time counter on it. That's it, pass.
All right, Forest for a turn, and I will get a little ramp going with an Arcane Signet. Taps for any color, and I'll pass.
Ooh. Untap, upkeep, draw. Let's go ahead and shock in a Temple Garden, taking 2. We'll pay 2 to Farseek. It is a sorcery. I can search my library for a plains, island, swamp, or mountain and put it onto the battlefield tapped and shuffle. We'll bring out a Hollowed Fountain, and I will pass the turn.
I'm gonna play a Windswept Heath.
Oh my God, Maldhound.
Listen, we will be shocking the Overgrown Tomb in. Since Veggie has a creature, I'm gonna engage you in an honest 1v1, by which I mean I'm gonna swing a creature with Menace at you.
Yeah, I can't
For
block
3,
that.
yeah. And then, oh my God, since I hit you, I'm gonna pay 2 black for Ezio, Blade of Vengeance. Normally a 5-mana 5/5, has Death Touch, and whenever an assassin I control deals combat damage to a player, I get to draw a card. And from there, I will pass the turn. My opening hand is 6 lands and a 5-mana card that lets me draw a card on combat damage. Some would say unplayable, but since the other Ezio is an assassin, I will be playing him for 2 mana, and I'm sure it will all be fine.
I'll play a Stormcarved Coasts, and then I'm gonna pay 3 for, you know, my Doctor's Companion, Amy Pond. She's a 2/2. Whenever Amy deals combat damage to a player, choose a suspended card you own and remove that many time counters from it. But also partners with Rory Williams, which I will search for right now. So Amy Pond finds Rory, who is a decent little combat guy, but when I cast him, will be suspended first. That's in my hand. And then I guess I hit NerdGirl for 2.
I will not block and take the 2.
Just 2.
All right.
That's turn.
Okay. Well, I want to play 2, so I'm going to play an island for turn, and I will also just cast my commander, Magus Lucia Kane, a 1/1 that says at the beginning of my combat on my turn, I can put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and I can tap it to get 2 colorless. The next time I cast a X spell or activate an ability that has X in the cost, I get to copy the spell or ability and choose new targets for the copy. I'll go to combat, and I can just put a +1/+1 counter on itself.
2/2 for 4 mana?
Yeah.
That thing is busted.
Super broken. And then I will pass the turn.
We will play a mountain, and I will tap a red, a blue, a green, and a white for Aragorn, the Uniter, son of Arathorn, with his ear of corn, will take on this morn and win. Legendary human noble 5/5. Whenever I cast a white spell, create a 1/1 white human creature soldier creature token. Whenever I cast a blue spell, I scry 2. Whenever I cast a red spell, Aragorn the Uniter deals 3 damage to 1 target opponent. Or whenever I cast a green spell, target creature gets 4/4 until end of turn. There is no black here, but I have black sleeves, so it's all good. Pass turn.
Real quick, we go way back.
So far,
It's been
30
we've known each other
minutes?
decades.
Maybe.
Exactly. So you're not gonna hit me with that guy, right?
You can get past me with a menace!
All right, never mind. I move to combat. I want to swing Ezio Auditore de Firenze at Quincy and Ezio Blade of Vengeance at Veggie. So that's 3 commander damage to you, Quincy, and then 5 normal damage to you, Veggie, which I will draw 2.
And that one has menace,
This
correct?
has menace, yeah.
Correct. All right, cannot block, will take 3 commander damage.
I will not block.
I'll draw 2 cards. And I'm going to play Zagoth Triumph, which enters tapped but gives me a lot of colors. And I will end the turn with 7 cards in hand. No, with 8 cards in hand. I will discard this basic island.
I want to keep doing things, but I don't think anyone here is going to be responsible. So I'm going to start by paying 3 for a Grasp of Fate. When it enters the battlefield, for each opponent, I exile up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls until Grasp of Fate leaves the battlefield. I only have a few choices, but they're pretty clear. I would like to target Magus Lucia Kane, Aragorn, and Ezio Blade of Vengeance.
Yeah, Aragorn's gonna go back to the command zone.
Yeah, I think I need to be more responsible about being able to stop you, so I will let Ezio be exiled under Grasp of Fate.
Trying to see if I have anything that can deal with it. All right, I will let Lucia go to the command zone.
And then I'll just play this Mystic Monastery, and I will go to combat. And I will send both of these at Mald for 2 commander damage.
Yeah, I won't block, but I also won't respond. Like a gentleman.
I'll pass the turn.
The problem with having a deck that focuses so much on having your commander on board means that a single piece of removal could ruin your entire game plan and set you back multiple turns. Unfortunately, I thought I was pretty safe considering there were some really big threats that were representing some immediate big damage, but Veggie had the perfect answer and was able to take out multiple threats, and I think Lucia kinda got caught in the crossfire. I will play a mountain as land for turn, and I will just pay 3 to cast a Kadama's Reach. I get to search my library for up to 2 land cards, reveal them, put one of them onto the battlefield tapped and the other one into my hand. I am going to reveal a forest and an island. I will put the forest into play tapped and the island into my hand. That's it, that's all I can do. Pass.
We'll tap 2 for a Rampant Growth. Search my library for a basic land card. Put that on the battlefield, tapped, then shuffle. All right, I'll put the mountain in tapped. All right, well, we will play tap 2, a red and a blue for an expressive iteration. It is a sorcery. Look at the top 3 cards of my library, put one of them into my hand, one of them into the bottom of my library, and one of them into exile. And I may play the exile card this turn, but I just want it for the card. I will exile a Steam Vents. This one into my hand, and this one on the bottom. And I will pass the turn.
Not so fast. I'm gonna tap 3 and cycle Zeator's Proving Ground to draw a card. Now you may pass.
I may.
I am playing the Brotherhood Headquarters as my land for turn, which taps for colorless unless I am casting an assassin spell or a spell with free running, in which case it taps for mana of any color. I will then move to combat, and I am going to swing at my dear friend Veggie again. 3-2 with Menace.
1, 2, 3.
And then main phase 2, I will tap a black and a black for the Royal Assassin, a 3-mana 1/1 that can tap to destroy a target tapped creature. I will then tap for a black, and I will play Jacob Fry, which partners with EV Fry, so I'll go looking for them in a moment. Whenever one or more assassins I control deal combat damage to a player, I can exile up to 1 target assassin card or card with free running from my graveyard, copy it, and I may cast the copy. All right, so Eevee will go to my hand, and from there, I will pass.
Okay, I will play a Plains, and I will pay you 5 for my Doctor, the 10th Doctor. 3/5 with Alonzi. Whenever you attack, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card. You put 3 time counters on it, and it gains suspend. Or I can pay 7 for Timey-Wimey. I time travel 3 times only as a sorcery, which means I can add or remove time counters from anything that has those on them, suspended or on the battlefield. I would like to move to combat. I will send Rose Tyler at NerdGirl and Amy Pond at Quincy. On attack, I will have the 10th Doctor and Rose triggers. So first, I'm going to have the 10th Doctor suspend something. Great, he's gonna suspend this Soul Ring. It's gonna have 3 time counters on it. So I'll get that Soul Ring in 3 turns. But then Rose is going to see 1 thing with time counters on it, so she will put 1 on herself. Okay, so now Rose is a 3/3, and Amy Pond is a 2/2.
No responses. I'll take 2.
No responses. I'll take 3.
Okay. And when Amy Pond deals combat damage, I can choose a suspended card and remove that many time counters from it. So at least my Soul Ring will come in next turn.
Quincy, we're a little behind.
We have a common enemy, yes.
Would you like to team up?
Absolutely.
Can you do anything?
I can build it. I need at least one full turn to build.
We'll tap for 7. X is 4. We're gonna cast the Roller Crusher Ride.
Woo!
It has Delirium, and it says, if a source I control would deal non-combat damage to a permanent or player, while there are 4 or more card types among card types in my graveyard, it deals double that amount of damage. But more importantly, right now it says, whenever Roller Crusher Ride enters, it deals X damage to up to X target creatures. So I get to pick 4 things between these 2 and those 3. All right, these 2 and these 2.
Okay.
And I got that Quincy favor.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. I'm all about giving those favors.
I will pass the turn.
All right. So I made a deal with Nerd Girl, an open-ended favor. I'm all about the favors. Hopefully this one doesn't come to bite me in the butt, but I just need time to rebuild. So we will pay 6 mana. Bring back Aragorn, the Uniter. Pass the turn.
I'm going to play Flooded Strand, and I'm going to fetch another land. All right, I've fetched my island. I'm going to tap 4, 2 of which are blue, and I'm going to cast Coastal Piracy. This is an enchantment version of the other Ezio, but it's not limited to assassins. Whenever a creature I control deals combat damage to an opponent, I may draw a card. And I will then move to combat, and I'm going to swing at Nerd Girl.
Oh.
No blocks.
And then I will draw my card. I will pass the turn from there.
I will go to my upkeep, and I'll remove the last time counter from this Soul Ring, which I will cast for free. And then I'll draw. I'm going to play a Plains, and then I just want to see what gets suspended. I'll move to combat. And I would like to send the 10th Doctor to Maldhound.
Interesting.
On attack, I will exile until I hit a non-land. It is this Mana Geyser which will get suspended for 3. And then you have 3 headed your way.
No blocks, take the 3.
And I think I just put stuff on the board. I will pay 3 for As Foretold. At the beginning of my upkeep, I put a time counter on As Foretold, and once each turn I can pay 0 rather than pay the cost of a spell that I cast with mana value X or less, which is the number of time counters on As Foretold. Importantly, Timey-Wimey can put more counters onto it. I will also pay 2 to cast Rory Williams, a 3/3 with First Strike and Lifelink, and he is the last Centurion. When I cast this spell from anywhere other than exile, I just exile it with 3 time counters on it and give it suspend, and then I investigate. So we'll see him also in 3 turns, kind of, and then I will pass.
All right, let's play 6 for my commander. She's back, Magus Lucia Kane. And then I'll move to my combat and I'll get a +1/+1 counter, but I don't have haste, so pass.
All right, Nerd Girl, thank you for clearing the way. I am going to pay 6 mana, 2 mountains, 2 plains, and 2 of whatever to cast Aurelia, the War Leader, Legendary Angel, 3/4 Vigilance, Flying, and Haste. Whenever Aurelia, the War Leader, attacks for the first time each turn, untap all creatures I control. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. Aragorn, the Uniter, will see a red and white spell being cast, so I will create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token, and I will Aragorn will deal 3 damage to target opponent, so I will deal 3 damage to Veggie's face. Before we move to combat, I am going to pay a blue and a green to cast Growth Spiral. It is an instant. I will draw a card, and I can put a land from my hand onto the battlefield, and I will put a mountain onto the battlefield. Aragorn the Uniter will see a blue and a green spell. The green will give all my target creature +4/+4 till end of turn. I will give that to Aurelia, the War Leader. The blue spell trigger will also make me scry 2 cards, and I will put them. Actually, both of those are relevant, so I will keep those up. We will move to combat. Veggie.
Yep.
I will swing out Aragorn the Uniter and Aurelia the Warrior Leader at you. Aurelia will trigger and I will untap my creatures. That is 12 coming at you.
And another 12?
I'm going to tap 2. And I'm going to go for the throat Aurelia the War Leader. Oh, I get to destroy target non-artifact creature. So because Aurelia isn't a robot, she will die.
Oh, man.
Because I'm very concerned about what happens to everybody if that sticks around.
Non-robot angel will die.
Oh. All right, so I'll just be taking 10 this turn.
You will be taking 5. And then there's another additional combat phase. With the additional combat phase, I would like to attack, if I can choose to attack, Maldhound.
Yeah, that's real. I deserve that.
It's a little robust this time. Frederick the Fourth is gonna stand guard and I will pass my turn.
Killing Aurelia here might seem weird. Veggie is obviously the threat. Quincy is offering to deal with the threat. Why am I stopping him? It's because I've been throwing around a lot of damage. I think people are a little bit angry at me, and if I'm going to Little Bean successfully, I need a much larger, scarier bean for people to stay focused on. So I need Veggie in the game, and I need him threatening. I will move to combat. I'm going to tap Quincy with Ezio for 3 commander.
No responses?
All right. Go ahead and take your 3. I will
commander.
draw a card for Coastal Piracy. I will pay 1 and a blue for Evie Fry. Partners with Jacob Fry. 1 colorless and tap. I can draw a card, then discard a card. When I discard a creature card this way, target creature I control can't be blocked. I'll then pay 2 colorless for Key to the City, which I can tap and discard a card to make 1 target creature unblockable this turn. Whenever it becomes untapped, I can pay 2 mana, and if I do, draw a card. I will pass.
At the end of your turn, I'm just going to pay 2 and sacrifice the expedition map to search for a land. I'm going to find this Trenzalore Clock Tower, which puts time counters on itself whenever I tap it for mana, and then if it has 12 on it and I control a Time Lord, I can pay 2 and sacrifice it to shuffle my graveyard in hand into my library and draw 7. Untap, and at my upkeep, a counter will come off of Rory and the Mana Geyser. I will put 1 onto As Foretold. I'm going to play the Trenzalore Clock Tower, and I'm going to head to combat. I just want to get a 10th Doctor trigger.
I'm squishy.
You are squishy. I'm going to send the 10th Doctor your way and see what I get to suspend. I will suspend the 9th Doctor, who can give me extra upkeeps if he untaps during my untap step. He will get 3 counters onto him. And then I think it's time to get timey-wimey. I'll pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which will put a counter onto the Clock Tower. To activate the 10th Doctor's ability, I can add or remove 3 time counters from each thing that has them. So we'll put 3 more onto the Clock Tower, 3 more onto As Foretold. We'll remove 3 from Rory Williams and the 9th Doctor, but I'm gonna leave Mana Geyser because I don't have anything to do with it right now. So these will both get cast right now.
I blame you. My angel could have taken care of all this.
And then finally, since I have a free cast from As Foretold, I guess I'll just recast Rose Tyler.
Oh no.
And I'll pass the turn.
I'm gonna tap for 2 colorless to double my next X spell, and X is gonna be all 7, because why not? And I need some help, and I need some ways to kill people, or at least not die. So we're gonna cast a Hydroid Krasis.
Ooh.
When I cast a spell, I gain X life and draw X cards round down each time. It has flying and trample, and it enters with X +1/+1 counters on it. X is 7. So I will get 7 counters, and notably, that was also copied. So I will still get the 7 counters because it's copied on the stack, so X is still 7, but I didn't cast it. This only copies it, so I will only get to gain 4, 3, and draw 3.
Pretty good snake.
It's not bad. And then I will play a tapped land for turn. It'll be the Oran Reef. It can tap for green, and I can tap it and put a +1/+1 counter on each green creature that entered the battlefield this turn. And I'll go to combat, and I'll just put an extra counter onto Magus. And they don't have haste, so I will pass the turn. I have some defense.
Oh boy. Need Jeskai. We will play 5 mana. I will cast Aowen, Shield Maiden. First strike, legendary creature, human knight, 5/4. At the beginning of combat on my turn, if another human entered the battlefield under my control this turn, I create 2/2 red human knight creature tokens with trample and haste. Then, if I control 6 or more humans, I draw a card. Aragorn is going to see Aowen. I will scry 2. So now with Aowen down on the battlefield, with Aragorn in play, I have a multitude of humans. If I keep casting white spells, I'll make more. And the thing with Aowen, if she sees humans enter, she'll create more knights, which creates more people, more card draw, and we will flood. I get to deal 3 damage to Veggie's face, and I create a 1/1 human soldier creature token. So Frederick has a brother. Frederick the Fifth. I will scry 2. Okay, so we will move, we'll move to combat, and Aowen will trigger, creating 2/2 red human knights. And Aowen will then see I control 6 or more humans, and I will draw a card.
Let's cook it.
I will, before I declare attackers, I am going to cast a blue and a red. For a Teamer Charm, choosing creatures with power 3 or less can't block this turn. Aragorn is going to see a green, a blue, and a red spell cast. I'm going to do 3 damage to Maldhound's face. I'm going to scry 2. We'll put both of those on the bottom. And the green will give, I will give one of my knights +4/+4 till end of turn. They do have trample and haste. I will swing all this at Veggie, and the total is 14.
I am gonna hope that I can find something with this single clue I have on board. I'll sacrifice this and draw a card. So that's 5 commander and then
9 other. Yeah. And I will pass the turn.
Before you do, I'm gonna tap Key to the City, discarding Spara's headquarters, and I'll make Eevee unblockable. Now we'll go to my turn. I'll untap everything, and because Key to the City has become untapped, I will tap 2 to draw a card. Tap Key to the City, discarding Showdown. And I'm going to make Eevee Fry unblockable. I'll swing Eevee at Quincy.
Fair enough. No responses. How much?
2 damage. I really just want the Coastal Piracy card draw trigger. And then I will tap 4. And I'm going to play Bleeding Effect. This is an enchantment that gives creatures on my board all of the keywords that creature cards in my graveyard have at the beginning of combat through end of turn. The only relevant keyword is I have a Death Toucher in the graveyard, so this is just generic board development, but I'll pass the turn from there.
One of the tricky parts about a suspend strategy as a whole is it makes you the threat face up on the table, and people will go after your stuff. I have the perfect get out of jail free card in my hand, but everybody has just decided to remove me instead of my permanent, and that I can't protect myself from. Okay, things have changed just slightly. I will remove a counter from the Mana Geyser, add 1 to As Foretold, and draw for turn. I'm gonna pay 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna tap 6 for my favorite Doctor Who character, Atali Primal Storm.
Dinosaur.
And that makes sense. They time travel, it's fine.
When Atali attacks, I exile the top card of each player's library, and then I can cast any number of them without paying their costs. Now, I just need haste. I'm going to pay 2.
Show us the meaning, Veggie.
I'm going to cast Run for Your Life. 1 or 2 target creatures each gain haste until end of turn, and they can't be blocked except by creatures with haste.
Oh.
And it does have escape, flavorfully. So I will target Atali and let's say, so I'll give it to the 9th Doctor because he wants to be tapped and live through combat. I'll send the 10th Doctor at Mald. I'll send the 9th Doctor and Atali at NerdGirl. And I think we'll send Rose at Quincy. So I will have some triggers. Let's do the 10th Doctor first. I'm gonna see what I get to suspend. It's a Wayfarer's Bauble. So that'll get suspended. We'll do Atali. So everybody please give me your top card.
Oh, I'm gonna.
Oh.
God.
Oh no.
He got playable.
Oh,
that's a great
That's
one.
not what's supposed to happen.
That's real good for me.
Very good one for you.
So I know mine. Rousing Refrain adds 1 red mana for each card in target opponent's hand. I don't lose it as steps and phases end, and then it resuspends itself. All right, so Rousing Refrain is going to add 1 red mana for each card in target opponent's hand, and NerdGirl has 7. So I will make 7 red mana, and then this will suspend itself again. And I don't know if anybody has noticed, but that is also how much it costs me to time travel, which removes 3 counters. So as soon as we're done this combat, I am going to time travel as much as I want. I guess I'll cast I'll leave NerdGirl's 0/0 in exile. I will definitely cast Annie Joins Up.
Dang it.
So I get to deal 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker, and any of my legendary creature triggers are doubled. I'm gonna deal 5 damage to Eowyn so that you cannot continue to make an army and get card draw. And finally, I will cast Adwale. 4/1. When it enters the battlefield, I reveal the top 6 cards of my library. Oh, I get to get an assassin, a pirate, or a vehicle. And then also, whenever a vehicle I control deals combat damage to a player, I can return Adwale from my graveyard to my hand. Oh, I don't know if there are any. Twice!
Because of Annie.
All right, so let's take a look. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ta-da. Let's go to the bottom. Okay. I am gonna look at one more top 6 for my second trigger from Annie Joins Up, because you never know, it could be the game-winning assassin, pirate, or vehicle. Yeah, I'm gonna show you these cards, and none of those are those things, so I'll put those on the bottom. And then the final trigger still waiting is Rose would like to put some counters on herself for the number of things with time counters, which is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's a lot of damage.
She is a 7/7.
I have no blocks.
Yes, yeah.
Because they're unblockable.
They are unblockable. And you've got a 3/5.
I'm gonna block with our friendship.
All right, great. Our friendship takes 3. So you'll take 8.
And then Fred's gonna chump Rose.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the cool thing. That 7 mana that is in my mana pool right now from the Rousing Refrain, I'm going to use to activate the 10th Doctor to time travel 3 times. I can add or remove 3 counters from all my time counter stuff. When I remove 3 from the Rousing Refrain, it will cast itself again to give me another 7 mana. So it is infinite time travel.
Can you do anything with that infinite time travel?
Infinite mana.
I can cast this Wayfarer's Bauble.
Okay.
I can make, as foretold, 1 billion. So I can cast 1 free spell that costs less than 1 billion every turn.
We might be dead.
Well,
And Rose is real big.
oh, that's scary. That's the scary one.
Yes, I need NerdGirl to have 1 more card in hand so I can also have infinite mana. But I think I will be just fine, because the final action for my turn, with my free 1 billion mana spell from As Foretold, I'm going to cast this Chronomantic Escape. Until my next turn, creatures can't attack me. And it will resuspend itself.
Huh.
So that is also something I will be able to cast every turn.
The Ramses plan is coming together. Everybody is focusing on Veggie. They're trying to make sure he dies, and now nobody can attack him, which happens to be the only thing I need to convert it into a win.
So we have to kill Veggie this turn or we die, and we can't attack Veggie.
I got him.
I got him.
Wait, oh.
I can do it if you can deal with this. And then
How can you can kill Veggie without attacking?
I can kill Veggie without attacking him.
I am going to pay 3, and I'm going to cast a Twinning Staff. If I would copy a spell 1 or more times, instead copy it that many plus an additional time, and I can choose new targets. I can also pay 7 and tap it to copy an instant or a sorcery spell, and I can choose new targets. But I don't need to do that because my commander will tap for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and tap my commander, and 4 for X is 4. And I'm going to cast Awaken the Woods. I get to create X 1/1 Green Forest Dryads, and that's going to be copied thanks to Magus and copied again, giving me a total of 12 Dryads. All right, here is my 12 Forest Dryads. And then I'm gonna go ahead and tap the Reef to give all green creatures that entered the battlefield this turn an additional +1/+1.
Oh, they don't got haste though, right?
No, they do not have haste. Although I tried many times in my brain to make sure they had haste. I'll go to combat, and I'm actually gonna put the counter onto my Krasis this time. I can't attack Veggie to help with the problem, so instead, I'm going to attack Quincy. You're my problem now.
Oi, all right.
8
cool.
damage.
I'll take 8 damage from a flying snake.
Jellyfish, please. And then that'll be my turn. I'll pass.
All right, I'm gonna pay 3, a white, a mountain, and a green to play Naya Charm. Instant, I am going to choose return target card from a graveyard to its owner's hand. I'm going to return Aurelia, the War Leader, from my graveyard back to my hand. Aragorn the Uniter is going to see a red, a green, and a white creature, a white spell being cast. I'm going to send the 3 damage from the red at Veggie's face. I'm going to pump Aragorn to a 9/9, and I'm going to create another human soldier. Frederick the 6th.
Because the 5th died.
Because the 5th died valiantly under a rose bus. I will spend my last 6 mana. 2 white, 2 red, and 2 colorless for Aurelia, War Leader. Aurelia has Flying, Vigilance, and Haste. Angel comes back. Aragorn sees a red and a white. I will create Frederick the 7th, and 3 damage will go to Veggie's face.
In response,
Oh,
I am going to cast one more spell. As
Veggie fashion.
As Foretold does allow me to cast on each turn something that costs a billion or less.
true.
I will cast this no more. It is 1 away from being able to take out Aragorn if I had decided to fuse it. One side would deal 4 damage to each creature, but I am not playing that. I will just phase all of my creatures out and then die. Even with infinite time travel and chronomantic escape happening every turn, and a free spell from As Foretold on each player's turn, I still couldn't stop direct damage to the face. If only I'd had more time.
Game actions.
All right. We're gonna send Aragorn, the Uniter, and Aurelia, the War Leader, for the first combat at Maldhound.
Sure. Hey, sure. What are we talking about? You're just gonna die. Who cares? You'll
That's
join me
11.
soon. Whatever. I take 11. You'll be joining me in approximately 2 minutes.
It's untapped. All right,
Yeah.
then I will just send Aragorn the Uniter, my biggest guy, because you have flyers. It's not gonna matter. 9/9 at you. Maybe I can eat some of your guys up.
You can eat all of them. I'll put all 12 in front of the bus. Wait, does he have first strike?
Yeah, he does not have first strike.
Oh, yeah, all 12 under a
So
bus.
4 dryads are gonna eat it.
So I will lose, 4 dryads.
He's a 9/9.
Yeah, and they're all
Yeah,
2/2s.
Yep, so I will go to 8 dryads.
Pass the toin.
I'll play a secluded courtyard for assassins. And then, NerdGirl, let's talk. Is there any sequence of events that we could undertake that would lead to me not being killed by you on your turn?
I will only kill you if I can kill both of you.
So no, you'll not.
Yeah, that's fair enough. All right, what can I do spitefully to Quincy for attempting to use me as a bargaining piece? I'm gonna tap Shadowy Backstreet, tap Eevee Fry to draw and discard. I'm gonna discard Queen Marchesa. I'm gonna make Ezio unblockable. I'm gonna play the Hunter's Bow. When it comes in, I'll attach it to Ezio Blade of Vengeance, and he gets to deal damage equal to his power to target creature. I'm going to shoot the tapped Hydroid Krasis to try to take as much power off NerdGirl's board as possible.
When I said I wouldn't kill you unless I killed both of you, I thought there was another side of that deal, but all right.
The angel lives.
I guess I wasn't very specific.
And then I'm going to, I think I do have to go to combat. I'm gonna swing with my unblockable Ezio at NerdGirl. So that'll be 3 commander damage to you.
It's unblockable, I cannot do anything.
Yeah. I will draw 2 cards. And I think the only legitimate move I have here is to pass and hope that the 2 Titans leave me with a window of meaningful interaction.
I'm gonna go ahead and cast for turn a Rhythm of the Wild. Creature spells I control can't be countered, and non-token creatures have Riot, which gives them either a +1/+1 counter or haste.
Okay.
Rhythm of the Wild is perfect. Now, all my big trampling X spells can come out with haste, and that is exactly what I needed to take Quincy on 1-1. I will tap my commander for 2 colorless, and then tap for 5 more. So X is 5. And I'm going to cast a Lifeblood Hydra, an XX Trampler that enters the battlefield with X counters on it, so in this case, 5. And when it dies, I gain life and draw cards equal to its power. Thanks to Twinning Staff and my commander, I'm gonna get 2 copies of it, and they each have 5 counters.
Oh.
But only one has haste, thanks to the rhythm. I'll just go ahead and go to combat, and I will put the counter from the Magus onto the Lifeblood Hydra, and I'm gonna go 7 to Mauled with the Krasis, and all my other creatures to Quincy.
Uh-oh.
So you'll get the 1 Hydra and 8 2/2s.
These 5 creatures will block 5 of your Dryads. So I will take 12.
All right, I am going
5.
to declare Ezio Blade of Vengeance blocking the big flyer. Does it have trample?
It does.
Oh my god. What the heck?
So you'll take 2.
Yeah, I have to.
And then I will pass the turn.
You'll try. On your end step, I'm going to tap 4, and I'm going to cast Chain Assassination, targeting Aurelia.
What'd I do?
So it destroys target creature. If another creature died this turn, which it did, I get to draw a card. You may take it away.
Untap, upkeep, draw. Fred the 7th lives for the day. We'll pay 5 for Chulane, Teller of Tales. Human Druid 2/4 with Vigilance. Whenever I cast a creature spell, I draw a card, and I may put a land card from my hand onto the battlefield. And I can tap 3 and tap Chulane to return target creature I control to its owner's hand. I will pay 2 to cast a Lotus Cobra. Trigger off a Chulane, I will draw a card. I am allowed to put a land card onto my hand in the battlefield, and I will put a Fabled Passage onto the battlefield. Lotus Cobra will see the land fall and will add a 1 mana of any color onto for me for now. I will tap and sacrifice Fabled Passage to go get a basic land card and put it onto the battlefield. I will put a mountain onto the battlefield. Lotus Cobra will see that, and we will take the 2 floating, and I will use a blue and a white to cast Harbin, Vanguard Aviator, a 3/2 flyer. Whenever I attack with 5 or more soldier creatures I control, they get +1/+1 and gain flying until end of turn. I will trigger Alpha Chulane and draw a card because it is a creature. I can put a land into my hand, but I do not have one, so that is that. Because I respect you so much, I will swing out Frederick the 7th at you. And that is all. I will pass the turn.
It's my time. Quincy is down to 7 life. That is in range for the Ezio Ramses Boogaloo. He has blockers, but I have Key to the City to make Ezio unblockable. It's time for me to show him how we do it in Venice. I am going to use Secluded Courtyard. I'm gonna tap 4. I'm gonna play Ramses Assassin Lord. So Death Touch, other assassins get +1/+1. Whenever a player loses the game, if they were attacked this turn by an assassin you controlled, you win the game. Crazy follow-up. I'm gonna tap Key to the City, discard a swamp. Ezio's unblockable. Crazy follow-up. I'm gonna move to combat, swing Ezio at you for 3.
In response to
Go
that,
ahead.
I'm gonna pay a white and a red and Boros Charm you, deal 4 damage to your face.
No!
That's real. I died.
I was waiting for it! I was ready!
We love king making. Good game, NerdGirl.
And tap now.
Yep.
Forest for turn, and I don't think,
I have no flyers.
yep. In fairness, I don't either. These are only tramplers.
I only have these massive snakes.
And a bunch of little dudes.
So I'm just gonna go to combat, I'll just put a counter here.
No blocks.
The Boros Charm.
I avenged Aurelia. I'll take it.
You keep saying Fred, so I was like, what about Fred? I was like, no, that's wrong. It's what about Bob? It's Drop Dead Fred. And if that didn't age me for all of you, I'm the oldest person at this table, so let me know in the comments if you get any of that.
So many Hydras with flying and trample, that's a lot. But I avenged Aurelia. Yes.
Don't forget to set up your affordable and stress-free meal plan with Factor. Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code 50DeckedOutEDH to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first Factor box. That's code 50DeckedOutEDH at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box.
He's like a million now.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've time traveled.
He's the time
traveled
wizard.
back to watch like old 90s movies.
Yeah, it took infinite time travel to get back to when you knew what Drop Dead Fred was.
I've seen Aragorn decks before. I was worried about losing to Aragorn from the very beginning. The last thing I expected was to catch a stray from a Boros Charm before Aragorn allowed himself to be eaten by tentacle monsters.
Don't forget to support your favorite Commander show by doing something you were going to do anyway, and that's buy Magic singles. And you can do so by using our sponsor, TOA.
It really is that easy, and Tales of Adventure has a wide selection of singles from the most basic printings all the way through the most premium versions, and they've also started stocking sealed product now, so you don't need to go anywhere else for anything Magic.
And you get 5% off your entire order when you use code DECKEDOUT at checkout.
And you should know by now, the link is down in the description, right there.
So I think after all that, Maldhound and I are still pretty good friends. Right, Maldhound? Maldhound, wait. Maldhound, wait.
Thank you, Koga. This deck was everything I could have wanted. I took so many game actions, and my board state was so hard to track. But it turns out, even after assembling an infinite loop, popping off early and getting eliminated first is just a fixed point in time. If you're building decks and you're not using Moxfield, then I feel bad for you. It just is the best tool for organizing, customizing, and collaborating on all of your decks.
In fact, it's the only way that our team can keep up with building sometimes over 20 decks per month. And it's the way that we can share our deck lists with you in a nice, easy format.
You can always support the show too, just by following us on Moxfield, where you can find every deck that's ever been on the show.
Telling you whether or not I'd touch your commander's parts. I'm here today playing Sexy Bidoof. Airball, pull it up.
As a 40k Tyranid player, I was so excited when I saw Kai submit today's deck list. I love big flashy spells, counters. This is everything I could have asked for. Ultimate Guard is the industry leader in TCG accessories.
And Ultimate Guard products are the way that all three of us on the Decked Out team are able to organize, protect, and display our collections. And they're the best way to show off all of our cards on camera for you.
So make sure you use the link down below in the description to support the show and pick yourself up some amazing upgrades. We'd like to thank our patrons and YouTube members for making today's episode possible.
It is specifically thanks to patrons and members like you, Rhonda, that we're able to keep this show weekly, and thank you for that.
And don't forget, you can always become a part of the show, help us stay weekly, and unlock some really cool perks. Signed tokens, spell table games with us, even have us play your Universes Beyond deck here on the show.
And of course, you can help me, Rhonda, by liking the video and subscribing to the channel. We'll see you next time on Decked Out.